And here we are. I got the ladies in the house now. The ladies are here. All age groups. This is really exciting to be here. We're going to be talking about creativity, content, and the economy of the arts and culture and impact. The creator economy has evolved from just creating content, obviously, to cultural influence and real-world impact. Today, creators don't just shape trends, they shape movements, industries, and global conversations. And that's why we're here this evening, because I know that these ladies have absolutely the gift and talent of creating shifts on this planet, let me tell you. So before I ask the first question, which is going to be, what is one major shift happening in the creator economy right now, especially for women creators? Please introduce your wonderful selves, and the stage is yours.
Hi everyone. I'll keep this brief while the wind has chilled out. My name is Zoya Kalinsky. I'm a 14-year-old UN Women and UNICEF youth advocate. I'm really excited to be here with all of you guys today. Thank you everyone for coming. I'm really excited for, not just what's going to happen here, but the follow-up, the aftermath of this event, all the amazing things that we'll do together. A little bit about me. I founded my own organization, the United Youth Council, last year when I was 13, to really give young people a chance to have their voice heard in global decision-making spaces. Being a young person who was bullied and excluded and felt like her voice didn't matter, I think that the United Youth Council is going to be really helpful for young girls, especially all over the world, to help find their voice.
I mean, as a mother of a 15-year-old daughter who has dealt with bullying, I have a lot of high hope for her in the future, being with women like this and individuals like this. So hi everyone, welcome. I'm Andrea Rogers. Nice to meet you. So happy to be here today. I am an entrepreneur and author. I built a company called Xtend Barre about 20 years ago. It started out as a workout. It turned into a license model, which turned into a franchise model, which grew internationally. And then I segued that love and passion for movement and mindset into writing a book called Small Moves, Big Life, which launched last year. And I will pass it off so we can I know we're in a hurry.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you, Chelsea, for putting this all together. Your generosity is amazing, and I just wanted to call that out. So thank you. My name is Kelley. I am a strategic partnerships consultant. I'm here today to talk about my work with a company called Shine Global. We're a nonprofit media company, and we use storytelling to elevate children. We started making films 20 years ago, and the one differentiator with Shine Global is all of our films are launched with social impact campaigns. You can watch one of our latest films in Nuja, which we were just at the Child Labor Organization Summit in Morocco showing. It's on Netflix. It was the most viewed short last year with over 10 million views. And at the conference, thank you very much, it's about a homeless girl living in India, and it discusses and addresses child labor. And what better way to address issues that we see happening than to sit around and watch a film and build empathy together, and that's what Shine does. So I'm very excited to be here. At Shine, we say data tells you what's happening. Storytelling tells you why it matters.
To share the stage with these incredible women, I feel completely honored. Thank you, Chelsea. I am Sharina Gutierrez. I have been a model now, a fashion international model, for over 22 years. I have watched media grow from the very beginning in the days when I guess you could say like Zanga and MySpace and those things existed. So to be here as a global connector, a philanthropist, an entrepreneur, and I guess a mother to the next generation to come, I'm just grateful to be able to share this stage and to use our voices to impact the future.
Chelsea, you gotta tell us.
You guys, I know most of you. I'll play with my introduction. Last time I made a joke about my love of French bulldogs, but for now, this introduction is going to be, I'm the co-CEO and co-founder of Logictry with my partner in life. For us, we're focused on building a brand that cares about technology, community, and content, and the future for expert creators. On an expert side, I did my PhD specifically focused on the next generation of women inheritors, and looked at, what is their stories that are shared with women leaders on the ground and capital allocators in their family businesses and in their inheritance and in their philanthropy. On the creator side, as a fun fact, I used to be an opera singer. So I was an opera and jazz singer.
Come on.
And
Just one note.
there you go.
Come on now.
Happy to be here.
Wow. All around of talent. I want to start off first with Sharina. And this is a first question for her. You've worked in the intersection of fashion, storytelling, and culture, as you were telling us. How are women creators using fashion media and digital platforms to shift narratives and advocate for issues that traditional media often ignored?
That's a very good question. So I've had the unique perspective of watching the industry, especially in the fashion industry, grow for over 22 years now. I started when I was 12 years old. I know it blows my mind. My first job ever was for Italian Vogue. And I was able...
Low bar.
My first job ever was for Italian Vogue, and that over the years, I've just realized how media chose what voices were important to hear and what stories were important to hear. Where I feel like the shift is happening now, especially for women creators, is that it's turning into from visibility to ownership. So it's becoming this new trend, I guess you can say, of my voice matters and my story is going to be told now. And we don't have to wait for representation or for somebody to tell us, your voice or your story is good enough. No, we can go online and we can say, hey, my story is impactful. And someone out there is looking for a story that my testimony is going to affect theirs in a tremendous way. And I feel like right now what media really needs is more responsible people who are ready to take that initiative to use their voice to actually impact the world. Because media can be used for good reason. It's like actually with good intention, media can be amazing. But I feel like we just don't need another get ready with me video or like a haul video of what you bought. Let's make it a little bit more exciting. Let's talk about what's going on in the world. Let's talk about mental health. Let's talk about honesty, truth. Let's build community. Let's make a difference. Because growing up and seeing where media was from back in the day to what my son is experiencing as a 14-year-old now, and that what my children are going to go into, my daughters especially at the age of 6 and 4, media shapes what they believe in themselves. So I feel like for us, for all of us, not just women, just people in general, the best thing that we can do is to be the example that we want the future generation to see. What stories are we going to put out there that's going to impact them to want to use their voice for good? To inspire them that their dreams can actually come true and that they don't have to conform to what media tells them they should be, that they should look a certain way, that they should feel a certain way, that they should actually use their voice to make a difference and to change this world.
Absolutely. Well said. I really love that. And I love the fact that you touched on ownership. We have ownership now, and you are able to create the content that really matters now. And I wanted to move over to Andrea because I know that you would really relate to the whole thing about ownership as well, because as the founder of Xtend Barre, you built a global wellness movement through your own personal experiences and storytelling. And so today, more and more creators are sharing their stories and identities and communities directly with audiences worldwide. What does this visibility mean for you, and what responsibility do you feel that you hold putting out those stories and obviously impacting other young girls? What responsibility do you feel that you have?
Well, that visibility is very powerful, right? When I started Xtend Barre, I was so naive, but I started it out of a small studio in South Florida. I was a professional dancer for many years, went to college, got my degree, completely bewildered, had no idea what to do. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to combine my love of Pilates and dance and create a movement. And I did it quite selfishly because I wanted that workout. It didn't currently exist in the market space. And I said, if I like this, I think other women might enjoy it. And so it started out very small, very limited. And what happened was a movement without any intention. I just wanted a workout that I could do myself every day. Women resonated with it. And it started in the small little studio, and then it took off, and it started as a license model. And then we went from like 20, 25 licensed studios. And then someone knocked on my door and said, hey, have you ever thought about franchising? I was like, no idea how to do that, but okay, sure, let's do it. So this movement happened through connection of women, right? And I learned along the way. But the brand grew because of the people involved, not because of the marketing dollars behind it. I didn't have a marketing budget. I mean, I was going into Staples and Office Depot and like creating my manuals and doing my own music and, shipping everything to the studios where I was doing the trainings. It was just, I didn't have a marketing budget, but what I had was connection. And I had a group of women who believed in what I was doing, and they shared that. Right. And that is what is so impactful. And that is what's so powerful and so strong. And with that growth does come responsibility, as you said, right? I like to say, Sharina and I were talking about this today. Like, I'm a Midwestern girl, and my mother always says to me, girl, I trained you to feel guilt because I have such a strong moral compass. And I laugh with my daughters. I'm like, I'm trying to do the same thing. But I try to carry that moral compass into a social media compass, right? So like as I operate on social media, I like to always check into that moral compass and make sure that I'm operating in a way that feels responsible with what I'm doing, because we're not just influencing anymore, to your point, right? We're really shaping beliefs. We're shaping behaviors, right? The messages that I get on a daily basis are far beyond, hey, Andrea, how do I tone up? It's more or less of, Andrea, I saw that you went through a really terrible divorce and I'm now going through that, and I see that you rose from it. How do I, as a woman, do that? These questions that I'm getting are far more deep and far more, they weigh on me, right? Like they weigh on me. And so I'm really thoughtful with how my interaction is with my audience and making sure that I'm not just entertaining, but I'm really bringing uplifting, empowering messaging to my audience.
Absolutely. And the power of the message is being authentic about it, right?
Oh, like she said, right. Visibility to ownership. And I think that's agreed. And visibility to credibility, right? Like you have to be authentic in what you're saying these days because we're too savvy and smart as a consumer, and specifically as women, to be able to we want real, right? And the people that I see myself going to and gravitating towards are women like this who are sharing messages that I'm like, oh, I see her, I feel her. Like she's not having a great day. Like they're just real. We're opening our doors. We're opening our bathrooms, for God's sakes. Like we're letting everybody in, you know what I mean?
Cupboards.
Yes, everything. But through that vulnerability comes realness, connection, and trust. And so trust is such a big factor these days.
Well, I'm totally inspired by you because I have a lot of girlfriends who actually went on and did Xtend Barre all around the world, would you believe it? And it was something that was talked about through my circle of the entertainment industry. If you didn't do these classes, you weren't cool. So
there you go.
That was the time. But see how the message continues on.
Right.
And it's going on and on further and further. A great thing is that we have young women with a very large voice and has a wonderful, wonderful way of expressing herself. And I wanted to ask you a question. We're seeing more creators evolve from influencers into advocates such as yourself, founders and cultural leaders. Why are women in particular leading this shift forward? Why are we purpose-driven now? Tell us, what's going on?
Wow, that is a deep question. Well, in my opinion, for a long time, only a few people had, access to a platform and actually had the microphone. Like we had only celebrities, politicians, people in positions of power. But I feel like social media kind of changed that. If you're a young person with a voice and a phone and a mission and something that you want to share with the world, you can reach millions of people. You don't need to be a celebrity or the president to make a difference. You just need to have a voice, and you need to have a drive to want to do what you want to bring to the world.
Wow. I get motivated just listening to Zoya, let me tell you.
I also think that women are leading this shift because I think us women, we understand the power of community, supporting each other, listening to each other's stories and experiences, and really being there for each other and supporting our journeys. I just feel like that's a big part of, womanhood, you could say.
Yeah, and we're all here to support each other's journey. Chelsea, I wanted to ask, at Logictry, you focus on human intelligence, ethical leadership alongside technology and AI as algorithms, see, I can't even say the word, increasingly shape what content spreads. How can creators ensure their platforms still promote authentic advocacy, thoughtful dialogue, and human-centered impact, which is really, really important that we stay authentic in this era?
So I really think there is something about understanding, and Tan kind of touched on this, and so did Stacy when we were talking about AI. People are building these products, right? And so if we're not thinking about, checking in, I loved that moral compass idea, right? But if we're not sitting right with ourselves, if our goal is really just to be, $1 billion company, let me tell you, I've sit and have sat with billionaires all over the world, and they're not happy, right? That doesn't make us whole. And so I'm sure he's going to get very mad at me for doing this, but bragging on my husband, he comes from a world that has one side that did very well and was very wealthy, and one side that had very little, and a mom that left that wealthy world, right? And that shaped him. And we all have moms that shape us. But her fight as a director of inclusion and making sure that every kid had a place in the classroom, I've watched that legacy in him and what we're building. So with Logictry, it wasn't quite frankly, he could have worked at Google. We could be making a crap ton more money than we are. He didn't have to wake up through it. He was checking in and out at National Instruments like it was nobody's business and didn't care, right? But because we're building something for the future and we've chosen not to have kids, we believe we want to help all kids. That's why he's up at 3 a.m. when we have a meeting coding, right? But it's because we believe that whether you are a technologist, a convener, a social media person, as we go into this AI era, every product we build, every conversation we're at, every table, every boardroom, we need to not just separate people from profit. Just like you can't separate capital earnings as a family office from your philanthropy, right? We actually are all one human. Just like I had on glasses earlier, I'm not just the creator, the funky opera singer. I'm also a PhD and I have glasses and I can't see very well, right? That is all of us. That is all of me. And so I would just end this very long monologue with, I think where it starts is by ensuring as we build and create, whether that's with your content or your actual tech products, that you are checking in with yourself on, does this feel aligned with my values? And I would start there.
Well said. I'd like to segue into, does this sit well with my values? Kate Kelley. Shine Global has shown how powerful storytelling can bring attention to issues like children's rights and social justice in a world where creators and digital platforms now shape culture so quickly. How do you see the impact of storytelling evolving, and what does it take for a story today to move people beyond awareness to real action? That's interesting.
When Shine Global goes into production or we're in development creating a film, the social impact campaign is at the forefront. We say our films start when the credits roll because that's when the impact begins. So we really try to be as thoughtful as possible in terms of what nonprofits are we partnering with, how are we getting reach, how are we amplifying this message, and how are we creating films that are going to resonate years from now. And I'll give an example. We're all watching a lot of things happen in the world today that I can't believe that's happening, but undocumented individuals, homelessness, it's definitely an issue in America. And in 2012, Shine did a documentary called Innocente. It was about a 15-year-old homeless girl who is undocumented, living in San Diego, who won the opportunity to do her own art show. The film follows her. It's beautiful. It's touching. It won the Oscar. That film is more relevant today in 2026 than it was when it won the Oscar in 2013. And so that intentionality and how we tell these stories and how we create opportunity to build empathy and awareness, but also meet that with structure, infrastructure, collaboration, community, philanthropy. It's all circular and it's all very thoughtful in how we model and how we leverage the storytelling to actually do the work in creating the empathy and awareness to then have people want to help provide solutions to the problem that we're discussing.
Wow, so beautifully said. Ladies, I just wanted to conclude tonight with just tell us quickly, what are you working on at the moment and where do you see the future? Chelsea could be here for a while. She's working on something all the time. But just a quick one about what are you actually working on at the moment?
Okay, I'm going to keep this very concise. So I mentioned this at the beginning. We don't just convene to convene. We want to move people into action, right? So there are a few key things. I'll pick 3. So the first one is if you are an expert creator and you want to not give up your values, but you want to align your impact with what you're creating or your content or your courses, please talk to myself, Sharina, or Chris Fronda, my husband. We would love to work with you. The second is if you are scared of AI or you want to move capital into AI or you want to better understand how your technologies can not just have a profit but impact the global south or countries around the world, please talk to Lawrence Kalinsky and the public team. I said I picked 3. Oh, the third one. Her Voice Impact and Logictry are actually partnering on Women Decision. It launched on International Women's Day. I think all of these women are actually participating. Anyone can participate, but we have some support here tonight or at the women's event on the 13th. It's very simple. It goes like this. You use your phone. You say, I'm a woman or I am an advocate or ally for women. And, you know, your role and then one decision that you hope for women in the future.
Well, going off of what you've said, yes. One of the things that I am championing for the next years to come is being at service. So being a vessel and understanding like what fully my purpose is here and how can I help others around me to achieve their dreams in life. That's how I actually got into the room with Lawrence and the wonderful team at Public. I just said, how can I be at service? And he said, pick up the shovel and let's do the work. So I am here picking up the shovel and doing the work alongside, you know, championing other friends and making sure that the light shines on them and bringing them along the journey as well. You're seeing everything that's happening right now. So if this is where we are right now, imagine where we will be 5 to 10 years from now. Moving mountains. What I'm working on right now, obviously Shine Global, we are a nonprofit production company. In production or in development, we are developing a docuseries about girls in extreme sports. We're developing a documentary about the joy of reading. A little stat for you all, the average American reads at a 6th grade reading level at this point. That's special. So how can we illuminate that problem, but also meet it with solutions? And with Shine Global, I think, you know, we are a founder-led philanthropy that is moving to bigger horizons. And if you're interested in supporting us as a nonprofit, if you're interested in getting a producer credit,
the right amount of money can lead to that. And it's a 501c3 tax deduction. So if you're interested in supporting Shine at all and how we tell stories and how we bring goodwill to the world, please seek me out or find me on LinkedIn. And thank you again, Chelsea.
That's amazing. We're connected. And thank you, Chelsea. And Sharina, you know, I'm saying Sharina brought me to the table. And I think that is what it is all about. Right? We were talking earlier about how many women, same, right? How many women are like, yes, I empower women, but do you really? You know, and when you surround yourself with women like this, right? The second I met you, you just came over and it was just like that connection and that contact. I want to do more of that, right? My goal with everything I do at the core is to help empower women, and specifically to focus on how we can create sustainable change in our lives without actually trying to overhaul everything, right? So changing the narrative, what change means, and how do we implement that? And so Small Moves, Big Life is my mission, and we'll continue to team up with incredible individuals to help facilitate that.
Amazing.
One thing that I'm working on right now is probably going to be the United Youth Council, something that I want to last far beyond me. I hope that in 5 to 10 years, thousands, hundreds of thousands, hopefully, of young people all over the world have their own initiatives, have their own organizations, have their own platforms, obviously supported by the United Youth Council all over the world, supporting others, empowering others. Also, I hope for social media to change. I want social media, like you were saying, Sharina, anyone can ask AI to generate a video of a raccoon dancing on a trampoline, but not everyone can take the time to research, to actually listen to what people want to hear and watch. And I think that we really need to step away from the content creation and go towards real content creation and conscience creations. I love that. And empowering others, inspiring others, and using our platforms to uplift others rather than, tear them down, because the amount of kids and young girls that wake up every morning, open their phone, start scrolling Instagram and Reels and start seeing perfect faces, perfect bodies, in perfect places, not knowing that there's, 7 layers of makeup, retouches, filters, green screens. Yeah, Facetune, exactly. So, and I think that we need more people that are real and raw and show their real side and reality, because that's what people resonate with, and that's what people will find the most inspiring. If someone with 20 million followers who shows their bare face talking about their real experiences can get a 20 million followers, then why can't I? But if someone who's constantly using filters and constantly, posting things that aren't real just for likes, then how can you uplift others? You can't. So I think that we need to take that first step today and start showing our real bare selves and step into the world.
Wow. Well said. Thank you so much, ladies. I love that we all want to connect and be part of a community, and it's wonderful to see all these amazing projects that you are all producing. Thank you.